All right, guys, welcome back to another session of the Round Table. Yours truly, LB. I have something great for you this evening. When you talk about entertainment, when you talk about radio, when you talk about show business, this lady that I'm going to interview just in a few moments, she has the full package. I was congratulating her earlier before we came live, and I was telling her, I don't know where to start. She has a 21-year lengthy, long. Let me tell you a little bit. Let me give this right here to you. Back in 2001, this is when her career started. Urban One, Radio One. She broke that down, got into other things: program director, logistics coordinator, project manager. Oh, it don't stop there. It don't stop there. Grant writer, panelist, executive producer, blogger. Do I need to say more? Y'all seen the pictures earlier, but I'm gonna tell you something. When we come back, for those who want to be in entertainment, those who are entertainment and need some tips, you may want to plug in or call someone and tell them to plug in, because this sister here, she has the full package for you. We'll talk about that when we come back.
You are now tuned into Urban Voice Media.
All right, guys, welcome back. Like I said, we have the wonderful, the multitasking. When I say, a lot of people, when they say multitask, they have maybe 2 or 3 different things they're doing. Not this lady right here. This lady right here is someone that I would love to have on the Up One Entertainment team, but I'm going to bring her on up. Miss Jones.
Hello.
How you doing?
Wow, first of all, you made me say, I was like, who are you talking about? Because, brother, you made me sound like I know what I'm over here doing, okay?
You got it, sis. I'm going back. Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, first of all, you put my age out there. You know I got an industry age. My industry age is 28. So if you're talking about 2001, that made me like way young. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you look fabulous. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
All right. From Baltimore, Maryland.
Well, I always say that Baltimore gave me my street credibility. So, like, I'm a military child. So I've been a little bit of different places. I was born in Germany, raised in, I lived in Hawaii, raised in Aberdeen, Maryland. And then, like, Baltimore gave me my street cred. Like, who I am now is because of Baltimore.
Sounds great. And now you're residing in Georgia?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Atlanta, Georgia.
How did you make that transition from the DMV down to the ATL?
I got married, and my husband's from Decatur, Georgia, and he was like, "Nope, we're not moving to Baltimore. You're gonna have to come down here." So he came, made me pack up all my stuff, and Atlanta is where we reside.
I'm originally from DC, and Baltimore gets such a bad rap, and
Okay.
then it didn't help when they did the TV show series and everything on Baltimore. How is Baltimore now?
Hmm. Mm. Like that TV show.
Oh, come on.
It's just like the TV show. I mean, I don't know. Are you talking about The Wire? Or are you talking
Yeah,
about the new one, We Own the City?
the
It's
both.
it's literally it's both. It is. It's like Baltimore has a special place in my heart because it's a hidden gem, right? There's so much like untapped talent. There's so much untapped resources here. Like I really hate that the city gets the reputation that it does, but we just have to be honest. Like if you're here in the city, you do have to keep your head on a swivel.
Okay. Let's go back to 2001 when you started with Radio One.
Hmm.
Did you know when you were going in that you were going to be actually a producer and board operator, or you had to work yourself up to it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, ever since I was a child, I knew that I wanted to do radio. I knew that I wanted to use my voice to speak to the people. I had dreams about that. And so when I got into radio, I really thought I didn't think what I did not think was that it was going to be that it was going to take the time that it took. Like I thought that like soon as I got done with the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland that I would be talking on the air and I would be this big multi personality, and it didn't really work like that. I really had to like to work. I really had to grind. I really had to learn all aspects of radio. I got told no so many times. I went through so many program directors. So I didn't think that it was going to take this long, or I didn't think that I was going to have to work this hard, but I appreciate all of my past and my background and just the things that I was able to do while working in radio.
Now, are you in radio now that you're in Atlanta?
So currently I am not in yeah, I'm not in radio. Post pandemic things look very very strange like in the land, right? And I wanted to kind of pivot from being in radio because it was just becoming so stressful. I left during the time of Trump, and everything was just Trump, 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 and it was just so much negative, and it was just really playing a part on my mental health, and I hated it. And this is a passion of mine. Like radio is a passion. I love it. I love talking to the people. I love cracking that mic open, and I found myself hating my passion. So I stepped away from it, and that's when I started working in the community with the program that I was working with, and I just kind of stepped away from it. I still had ties to it. I just kind of mostly did the back behind the scenes because I love producing for people and running the boards and just getting my hands, mixed up. And that's when I decided, let me put down what I've learned through my years of being on radio and being in Baltimore hip hop and just being a student of hip hop culture, and let me put that in a book. And that's how I started my book.
And the book is titled Seven Lessons Hip Hop Taught Me That School Didn't.
Yeah, 7 lessons hip hop taught me that school didn't.
Give me the first lesson.
The first lesson that is that hip hop artists, rappers were the first social influencers, and how hip hop artists has really influenced a whole entire generation of American youth, international youth, and just how everything that you see right now, especially just what's going on, is influenced by hip hop culture. And it's phenomenal to me because I can look at certain things. I'm like, oh, they got like today. I was going down, just searching down social media, and I saw a child from in Palestine rapping about the atrocities that was going on in Palestine. I think his name
Wow.
was MC who? Brat or something like that. And he was probably like 12 years old, a kid from Palestine, and he's rapping through, and there's rubbles, and it's like you could tell it was bombs. And this kid is using hip hop culture, using the words to describe what is going on in his civilization. And I was just like, wow. I was really mind blown, and that just made me think like it's like my first lesson. Hip hop artists were the first social influencers.
Pulled one up. I don't know how recent it is. It says May 15th, 2021, though, but there's one called MC Abdul.
Yep, MC Abdul. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they
12,
showed it
he's
again
got to be about 12, 13 years old.
yeah, he's doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
May 24th, he did it again. 12, like you said, 12 years old.
About
And
12 years
he's getting
old.
a lot of play right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, young man. Do it. When you, what introduced you to hip hop?
Ooh, it was, I would have to say my older cousins, my father. I mean, my father had the first Snoop Dogg album, It's a Doggy Style. And I remember sneaking and listening to it with all the cuss words and everything like that. So my father is a big music buff. He would used to like play music and say, okay, if you can guess who this artist is, I'm gonna give you all $1. Or I'm gonna give you some money just to, name like who this artist was. And I remember like on Saturday mornings and on the weekends, my dad would just be playing music and we would just be cleaning the whole house. And like he really introduced me to music, and himself, he wanted to be a musician. And I remember I have two sisters, so he wanted us to be like I guess the Destiny Childs, but he wasn't on his Matthew Knowles. I wish he was on his Matthew Knowles, because I could probably be Beyonce right now.
I heard
But
that.
it would take us to like play the drums. He wanted us to play the drums. He wanted us to make music. He had us writing songs. So I would say my father pretty much introduced me to music and hip hop culture.
In the 90s, who's your, let me give you a better time frame. From 86 to 90,
Mm.
who's your favorite rapper?
Ooh, that's too old for me, bro. I'm more of a 90s rap girl.
Okay.
86,
From,
I was too young. You bring it up to the 90s. The 90s,
okay.
I can tell you who my favorite 90s artists were.
All right. From 90 to 94. Don't say Tupac, please.
Not Tupac, definitely. Tupac, Biggie, Queen Latifah, MC Light, Yo Yo, Lil Kim, Foxy
Now
Brown,
stop right there.
Salt and Pepper.
You said MC Light. Actually, MC Light came out in the 80s.
She did. MC
Hmm.
Light did come out in the 80s, but she did. MC Light did come out, and so did Queen too. But
Hmm.
they was able to also transcend that generation of the 80s and into the 90s. So yeah.
As far as lyrical, who would you say is the best lyricist? Or let me take that back. Who would you say is one of the best metaphor speaking rappers of all time?
Mm. You might not like my answer, but I really have to give it up to some of the newer school. I really like Kendrick Lamar. I love how Kendrick Lamar puts a song together. I love how he puts like a message together in a song. I think as far as like the newer school MCs, I would have to say Kendrick. Far as the older school, I'm a Slick Rick fan. Like Slick Rick, like he
Rick
was
the
he
Ruler.
was putting bars together that like Slick was the man.
Right, right. I play this clip right here, for a lot of things that I do, and people don't understand why. And I play it because I tell them you have to learn, just like you said, transition yourself over to something new. And if you're not willing to learn something new, you're gonna be so far stayed back. Because I'm a product of, as far as hip hop, I'm a product of the '80s, and this cat right here he sold me. You must learn. KRS-One.
Is that KRS-One? Now, see, you know what? I am a fan of KRS-One, and I think that KRS-One is a really good lyricist. However, KRS-One dropped the ball, right? And I say that he dropped the ball because KRS-One comes out of that with the whole African Bambaataa, and the situation with African Bambaataa touching little boys. You know what I'm saying? And the whole molestation that was going on in that crew.
Mhm.
And I think that, and KRS-One, I was expecting for him to say more about that, and he just kind of was mute on it and was just kind of like, hey, we like he didn't really like he didn't really chastise African Bambaataa, and it kind of made me look at KRS One like, hey yo, like what, like, and
For
maybe
me,
I'm wrong on that, but he just kind of, I didn't really like the way he dealt with that situation when it came to African Bambaataa, and several, not just one, but several men came out and said
mhm,
that African Bambaataa was touching them.
right now, you spoke about your first lesson, and the first lesson. What would be? We're gonna go through all the lessons. What would be your fifth lesson for everyone in the book that you wrote?
The fifth chapter, or what I think, the number one, my fifth lesson. Ooh,
Wait, are there
I
lessons in the book, or that's just the title, 7 lessons?
no. There's lessons in the book. All of the
Hmm.
chapters deal with different things that I've learned from hip hop culture. I think that the one that I love the most is chapter 2, is pussy is power, and it's just not about utilizing. I know, right? Look at your face, but I'm just like, I'm not talking about just as a sexual act. I'm just talking about like how women MCs, female rappers, women in rap use their womanhood and have defined what black womanhood is based on what a black woman says, and not the stereotypical things that they gave us during that time, like the Jezebel and the mammies, you know. I think you here you have these women MCs coming in describing black womanhood for themselves. And I'm not just talking about like just like how women use their, you know, their bodies and stuff now. Like it's different now. We see a lot more MCs, especially women rappers, using more of the sexual tone. But I'm just talking about like how they just deal with society and like just their womanhood, from raising children to being a part of the community. Like Cardi B, you know, Cardi B is one of those MCs that, yes, she's a sexualized version of what a woman rapper is, but she uses her platform to talk about real life shit. You know what I'm saying? And I have to respect her for that. And then when we was coming up, I think now in the 21st century, I do kind of feel sorry for the young women now, because they do have like one prototype of what a female rapper is. But when I was growing up, I can listen to a Lauryn Hill, I can listen to a Queen, I can listen to a Little Kim and a Foxy Brown and the Boss, and like just all these different plethora of women MCs, and get a real definition and of what black womanhood could be. So I think chapter 2 is my most prized possession, because it really deals with women are and who women have been in hip hop culture. And I think so long people think that women have no place in hip hop, but it was a woman. Shout out to the Sugar Hill record. Her name escapes me right now, but she did that record, Pillow Talk, who made the first platinum MC with Sugar Hill. It took her. I can't think of her damn name right now. But women have always been either in the forefront or in the back of hip hop culture, and I just really hate the fact that they try to write the woman out of the story, just kind of like how they do the Bible. You know, we know that women have been in these scriptures, but they try to take us out of it. So I think chapter 2 is my most prized possession, because I really put a spotlight on women MCs and just women in hip hop in general.
Well, you know what you said actually goes back to where Roxanne Shante spoke in reference to the rap battle, and she won the contest, but
Mm-hmm.
they didn't give her the award or the
Exactly. I mean,
championship.
the whole rap scene, the whole battle scene is because of Roxanne Shante.
And their biggest thing was they was afraid that if a woman was to grab it, since there was so many guys involved in it and less women, you know, in the main front, they figured that would destroy rap. But in
Mm,
actuality, it didn't. And I'm glad she didn't give up. I'm glad she went on and Marley picked
yeah.
her up and exhaled her to being the queen. Um, and I feel because of her, then came the real Roxanne, then came MC Light. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, she's MC Light is my number one of all time female rappers. And then I give it to the
I love
queen.
MC Light.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
love MC Light.
But
Georgie Porgy is like one of my favorite songs.
yeah, man, you can listen to that, man. Just
Mhm.
wow, just
I
beautiful.
mean, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful song. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and read some of these lessons you have. Drugs run
Okay.
America. Tell me a little bit about why
Drugs
why
run
you picked that
America.
topic.
Well, I picked that topic because of where we are in society, and just like, especially with the Black community, right? A lot of the reasons why our community is the way it is because drugs came in and ruined the community. And I'm talking about like the crack era. All right. So when the crack era came, that's like the 80s, right? Reaganomics, and like crack took out the mom, the dad, the grandma, the uncle. I mean, crack really ravaged Black America, right? And so people always think, okay, like we're so hard on the war on drugs and the war on drugs. And the more that I realized the war on drugs is a facade, I had to really have to ask myself, well, where did it come from? Where did it all stem from? How did the drugs actually get into the Black society? Because we don't own no planes. We ain't over there in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? We not in no poppy fields. We ain't growing no cocoa plants. So how did the drugs actually get here, right? And so as I did some of my research, I came across how who was it? J.F. Hoover at the time had this whole thing on how he was going to destroy, how he allowed drugs to get into the Black society because he wanted to destroy or stop a new Black Messiah at that time. And that's when like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and the Black Panther Party was rolling hard. They brought drugs in to destroy what they were doing, that momentum Black folks was having, like during the 60s and during the 70s, like after the Jim Crow laws and all of these laws after we came from, like, people think that it ended during slavery, but then we have a whole years of situations and policies they put in place for Black folks to fail, right? And so once we dealt with that and we got through with that and we was all Black and proud, bam, here comes drugs, right? And so where did the drugs come from? So I really wanted to dive into that, and like how Reagan had this whole deal with the Contras over in Colombia and Cuba, and how he made a deal with them. Okay, we're going to get these drugs. We're going to help you we're going to help you defeat Castro. I mean, the shit goes deep, right? And when you realize like drugs really run America, right? And even down to the prison industrial system and how the prison system is another form of slavery. And so I really wanted to delve into that. And I didn't really go as deep as I could because I really wanted a high schooler to really understand like, hey, you know, this is bigger than you. And it's all a part of a game and the trap. And do not get yourself caught up in this mousetrap because it is for you. Like the system is built to have you in the mousetrap because at the end of the day, you are money. You know what I'm saying? It costs more money to house a prisoner than it is to educate someone, right? Because this money, not only is this money going to you got to pay the judge, you got to pay the bailiff, you got to pay the court fines. You got to, you know, like it's just a money grab, right? And unfortunately, Black and brown people are its currency. So I really wanted to delve into that.
Um, your targets for this book. Who are the people that you're trying to target to actually read this book and grab something from it?
Anybody who loves hip hop culture, right? It's a lot of I would say a high schooler, college age kids, and even lovers of hip hop culture, right? But I really see that age range of being 17 to like 26. I really want the younger generation to understand, like, there is a difference between rap culture and hip hop culture, right? Hip hop is hip hop, rap is the seed of hip hop, right? And depending on where you water it is what's going to grow. Okay. So I really wanted the young people to understand what hip hop culture is, what it was supposed to be, and what it could be if we don't allow rap culture's influences to overthrow it, because it's a beautiful culture, right? And it's one of the last cultures that Black Americans have created, right? Like, this came from us. This came from American soul. This came from Black, like, we can, there are the Black, like, they're still living, right? Like, we can go to the godfather of hip hop culture and ask them questions about, like, how did y'all, like, they're still here, they're still living. It's one of the very cultures that we have created as Black people that is still thriving and still growing. But the thing is, we don't own it. right? Why is the forefathers broke, poor, and disgusted, and you have these white folks, or I'm sorry, but these other
Don't be sorry.
folks
Don't be
who
sorry.
are
Say
getting
what it is.
rich, right? Who are getting rich and living in these and their generation is set up based off of what we've done. You know what I mean? But our
It goes back to
forefathers,
what you
like,
said. You said it earlier. Slavery. It hasn't ceased.
no,
Slavery is
no,
still prominent here today. You said it earlier.
absolutely, yeah.
But I concur with you 100% in reference to what you're saying, especially when you talk about hip hop. And a lot of kids may not understand, and young adults may not understand. To us, hip hop was the fat laces. To us,
Mm-hmm.
hip hop was the Kangos. It was the graffiti. And that was a big part of
The
me getting
graffiti.
into DJing as a DJ. I would see all the sprayed up T-shirts and everything of the cartoon characters of the actual artists. So I got into hip hop
Mm-hmm.
doing that.
The break dancing,
That
right?
part.
Yeah, yeah.
That's hip hop, and like you said, rap is something totally different. You spitting on the mic behind a beat,
Mm-hmm.
that's a form of hip hop, but you ain't all hip hop if that's all you can do.
Right,
Go back. You think
right,
about
right.
Houdini. When Houdini had the dancers dancing with them back in the days, where the dancers was actually rappers, and they were UTFO. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, some of
Yes,
the
yeah,
some of
yeah.
those rappers started out dancing for other rappers until they finally got their break,
Yes,
and that was that form of hip hop.
right.
And you said it earlier, the
And
evolution, the
look at dance
transition.
culture now.
Hmm.
The evolution, and like, look at the dance culture now. Like, me and my husband was talking, I didn't even touch on the dance culture, right? I was like, my husband brought that up because we're in Atlanta, and dancing is the difference between dancing in Atlanta and dancing and on the East Coast is totally different. But I'm looking and I'm like, dag, a lot of this is rooted in breakdancing. And that just had me started to thinking, like, wow, like, hip hop and how dance culture is now, right? You have television shows based off of So You Think You Could Dance, or all these other different dance cultures. And a lot of that stems from the movements, the break dancing that you will see in hip hop culture. So, like I said, like, we were the first social influencers.
Hmm. Hmm. In your book, you also have lesson number
Mhm.
4: money attracts money. What did
Yes.
you really mean when you spoke of money attracts money?
You got to spend money to make money. Money attracts money, right? And that goes back to kind of almost like the law of attraction. Um, what you put out is what you get back. So, and that's just based off of like your art, your talent. The money that you put out is what comes back. The hip hop is one of it's $1 billion business at the end of the day, right? I read that, I was like, wow, it's $1 billion business. And who has the money, right? And the more money that they put out, the more money that they get back. So it is what it is. Like, money attracts money. Where is the money going? Who benefits off of the culture? And then you'll see where it's going.
I think the I haven't, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't had a chance to read the book yet, but just by looking at the titles of the actual lessons, I think number 6 is for me, and it says hustle is a sport.
Okay.
What did you mean by that?
Hustle is, I mean, hip hop culture is filled with hustlers. I mean, you have people who ain't never had a job in their life, but they had a dream and a vision, and they had to hustle, and now they are letting their talents support them. They are getting paid off of their talents, right? Hip hop culture is a culture full of hustlers. It's a culture full of entrepreneurs. And in order to be a great entrepreneur, you have to have some type of hustle about yourself. So That is what that's what it breeds. It breeds the hustler. It breeds that let me go get it. Let me get up. Let me get on the grind. Let me get up out the bed and go get my bag. You know what I'm saying? That's what hip hop does. You can't be lazy in hip hop culture and think that you're going to be successful in it. No matter if you're in behind the scene, in front of the scene, if you're the promoter, the artist, the DJ, the writer, whatever. If you are taking some type of property or resonance in hip hop culture, you have to have some type of hustle about yourself.
Exactly. You know what? I have a lot of family members get on me, and they tell me, they say, "Yo, L, you one of the hardest working men in show business, but hey, you got to do what you got to do until you get to that plateau. And once you get to that plateau, then you hand that torch down to your employers and show them the easy way of doing things that you worked hard at doing it the hard way."
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
Go ahead.
no. I was thinking that, like, for us that are like a little older in the culture, sometimes we like to hold on to things, right? And I really come from the mind frame of like, let me give as much as I can out, because if you hold on to something, right, you're not keeping yourself open to download more knowledge to take you to the next level,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes I see that the gatekeepers in hip hop culture, they only get to a certain place. They don't never go forward because they don't never give back. They don't never take somebody from the back and pull them up to take to in order for them to take that position so they can move on to the next position. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why so many of us are stuck. A lot of our elders are stuck because we don't give back to the younger generation. We don't give that wisdom back. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
let that wisdom get old and grow mold on it. Then it's no good for nobody. And then we wonder why our elders are bitter and mad and angry at the younger generation because they didn't see the younger generation as somebody that they can pour into, but they saw them as a competition, and we
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be like that.
One of the I tilt my hat off to Dr. Dre for several reasons. Number one, he's a phenomenal producer, and number two, he did just as you said. Because Dre came out with World Class Wrecking Crew in the '80s, but he was still pushing, and all the way up into now, still pushing out new artists, just as you said, giving back, bringing in more. Whether he's doing it
Mm-hmm.
for the money or doing it for the love, he's doing it, and that's something you do not see a lot of. And I tell a lot of people, man, if you're going to get into rap, try to see if you can go and gravitate to a rapper before you. Reach out to them, say, "Hey, how do you like this track? Maybe can we do a duo together?" And you never know, you
Mm-hmm.
might bring the dust off of them to come and strike their career back up again. And
Absolutely.
you're giving them homage, but at the same time, you're learning from them the do's, the
Absolutely.
don'ts, and the how to's.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. And then I see that everybody has to help everybody, right? Especially when you're in these towns where hip hop culture is not like a major force, but you see that younger generation, you see that young MC, you see that young rapper, and then you yourself have a little bit of knowledge about yourself. Go out there and give them some advice. You know what I'm saying? And the younger kids have to do the same thing too. They have to be more open to advice as well.
Mm-hmm. And I follow Roland Martin, and Roland, he just picked the phone up to actually, it was yesterday. He picked the phone up and he called Chubb Rock. Chubb picked the phone up instantly, and they were talking about something that they had done, and he had to get clarity on it because the guys in the that was on the show that day didn't believe what Roland was saying. So he called back to Chubb Rock. Chubb picked it up and gave clarity as to what Roland was talking about, and that's something I think is good. That even though you might be busy in your day and everything, you're not too good to where you can't pick that phone up if someone called and just need you to co-sign on something that really actually is facts.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
uh, Lesson number 7, you said drop jewels.
Dropping jewels. So lesson number 7 is one of those chapters where it's a lot of jewel dropping in there, and that is because I um I um I had so much I wanted to put in the book, but I just didn't see that some of those thoughts that I had fit into any of the chapters. So one of the things that hip hop has taught me, and like I just said, drop jewels, right? You got to drop a jewel everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? Drop a jewel, especially if you know something about a little bit of something. We have lived here on this earth however many years. Everybody has something to say. Everybody has something that someone else can benefit from. So drop a jewel wherever you go, right? You see someone who might be having a bad day, you know what I'm saying? Drop a jewel to that person. Drop a jewel to your children. Drop a jewel to your family members. You know, drop jewels wherever you go. Just drop your jewels.
Awesome. How long has the book been out?
Oh, the book has not. The book is maybe not even a month. It just is being released right now. You can go to Amazon.com. You can go to my website, CivJones.com, and purchase the book. But it hasn't even been like I've been working on the book for years. Okay. Like I've been working on the book for at least 5-6 years. This book has supposed to have been out, so I hadn't like I really want to just kind of get the book out there, so I hadn't really like done like a launch and really put the love into it like I need to, which means that doesn't necessarily mean that I cannot do that, because hip hop has taught me that you can always reinvent something. You can always reinvent yourself, right? So my thing is the book is out right now. So if people want to purchase the book, they can go to Amazon.com or they can go to my website at CivJones.com. And if you don't have any, because it's out right now. It's out right now. We just haven't done the big release and all of the big push that I really want to get it out. And I am going to do that because this is my baby, and I feel like it does need some type of launch.
Mm-hmm.
Even whether that be online or in person.
Are you doing any consulting right now in reference to business people that are in the entertainment business and they're struggling with getting their project, their events, their music out there or up and going? Are you doing any kind of consulting?
My books is always open. If someone wants, to consult with me or want to run an ideal by me, I'm always open. I'm available. You can reach me at civiciv@gmail.com, or you can reach me at civjones.com. That's most of my social media network. If you have an ideal, like I love to give, like I said, I love to give back. I love to talk to folks about different things, right? Now, if it comes to me, like if it's just a conversation, yeah, I can have it definitely. I can talk to you, but then if it comes to something a little bit more, then we're gonna have to talk about some consultant fees. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had 20 years of worth of knowledge in this game. I have gotten music played on radio. I have worked with different artists. I have done streets. I have pretty much done every probably job in the industry. So I am a subject matter expert when it comes to this. So yes, I definitely am open to talk to people. And if they want to go a little bit further, then we could talk about that as well.
This is one thing that I received probably about 3 weeks ago from another entrepreneur, and I was telling him about someone wanted to come into Up One Entertainment and buy a portion of the business and join in business with me, and the dollar figure they came up with I felt was reasonable, but they still didn't come up with the money. So when I pitched this over to this person, they told me, they said, "Yo, L, how long you been in the music industry?" I said, "Since I was 14." He said, "How old are you now?" And I gave him the age limit and everything. And he said, "How much money do you feel it would take you to survive off of, cool?" I said, "At least 65 a year." He said, "Multiply 65 times the number of years you actually been in business." And I did that.
Mm.
And the money that they should have offered, or I should have said, "Hey, it's going to take this to come in," was $2,470,000
Well, let's
to
go.
be a part. And he said the
Wow.
reason why is you cannot forget about all those years of learning. and
Mhm.
discovering, as you said, the research you did, not just the
Mhm.
point where you are today, but look at all those other years of what you did to get to that level, because your resume changed, and
Exactly.
you gathered so much in that resume. You can have someone come straight off the street with $10,000, $20,000 and gather all the knowledge, all the experience that you had for $20,000, and it took you a lifetime to do it. So it made me think, I'm undervaluing
Right.
my business and my worth. My business and worth is at 65,000 a year is 2 million, almost $3 million if someone wanted
Mm.
to come in. And you're not coming in at 50-50. You're not coming in at 60-40.
Right.
You're not coming in at 80-20.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people, when you think about your business, and you said it in the what was it? It was money. Money attracts money. You have to value your money, and what is your money really worth?
Yeah. And what is
Because
your
if
money
you
really
don't,
worth?
you
Right.
you'll let someone come in and they'll take everything you worked hard for, and they hardly do anything. They just take what you
Absolutely.
done, but
And
they
you know
take
what?
credit.
Absolutely. And money doesn't necessarily mean to be green. The money attracts money part, right? The money could be what's in your mind, what your thoughts, what you can do to create that money. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't necessarily need to be a tangible thing, but the money is you. What do
Mhm,
you attract, right?
mhm,
Do you believe in yourself in order to get that, to ask for that high price? And sometimes, and the message is for the speaker first, right? Like the things that I say is for me first, and then it goes on to the people, right? The message is always for the speaker first. So I definitely understand that whole concept of like, all right, this is how much it is, and how much do you have to, you know, what you're really worth. And when you sit down and you think about it, it's like, damn, I am really undervaluing myself. Let me step my shit up a little bit more, right?
exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
So everyone, they can go to Amazon and get your book, and they can also go to you said your webpage.
CivJones.com. CivJones.com. They can go to the website. They can go to Amazon.com, type in Seven Lessons Hip Hop Taught Me School Didn't. It's up there. Or you can go to CivJones.com. If you can't find it there, you can go on any of the social media networks and I can send you a link. My social media is Civ Jones. Everything is Civ Jones. I made it very, very easy for you to find me.
And here's a picture of the lovely book, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Thank you.
Now, before we go, let me ask you, how did you come up with the cover with that?
Well, so that is my homeboy's design. Shout out to D Hammett, Doug. Doug, I told him I had an ideal that I wanted to represent the seven lessons, and I wanted the videos, or I wanted the pictures to represent the seven lessons of the book. So we came up, he found a couple of the different images, he put his whole, like, I let an artist do an artist. I told him I wanted it to be black, white, and red, and he did his thing and I loved it. And I was just like, all right, let's move this, tweak that. But if I come to you for a service, I'm gonna let you do your thing. Like, I am not the subject matter expert. I'm just gonna give you my vision, and I just want you to execute it. And he definitely executed it the way I wanted it to be.
Perfect, perfect. 'Cause I'm sure there's a lot of people that I cover. They write books, and they have a hard time coming up with that cover that, like you said, it's going to attract. And I keep hearing that word from you: attract, attract, attract. Got to make something attractive. Um, so for those who maybe they can reach out to your guy and see if he can do something for them
Oh,
as well.
absolutely, absolutely. This is what he does. This is his business. Doug, Dad, what is that? So he's an artist. So he's not really a social media guy, right? You know how you meet those artists, but they're not really social media people. But if you want to give his information and somebody wants that information, like far as to get it, you could contact me and I could send you over like his email, or get a contact information from him to give to you.
That's awesome. But see, if I don't want you to go, I want you to stay backstage. I got to talk to you about something else off air. But I'm glad that you came to the roundtable session. Anytime you have something new and improved that's get ready to come out, please come back to Up One. Excuse me, not Up One, to Urban Voice Media. Guys, don't get me. I see y'all. I ain't throwing pictures of Up One, but I see y'all. But if you will, come back to the roundtable session here at Urban Voice Media and sit down with me and let's talk it out. Maybe.
I
Well,
would
let
love
me
to
ask you
do
this:
that.
is there anything in the planning for a part 2 to the 7 lessons?
Um, I'm, man, there's so many, like, after writing this book, there's so many other different books and things that I want to kind of deal with. After this, I don't know. I want to let this go. Like, I have a podcast coming up. Me and my husband, we're doing a podcast. Street Lights After Park. So I really want to get back into podcasting again. We'll be talking about, because my husband is a big sports guy, sports, hip hop, and just that different commentary. I really want to take this book on the road, and like, hip hop is forever changing, but I have other 7 lessons. Like, I have 7 lessons I want you to know about from the Bible. I have a sci-fi book that's in me that I got to get out. It's like I'm dealing with sci-fi. I have so many different projects in me, but I am going to give this one its time and its attention to get to do what I need to do. And yeah, right. Special thank you to Tangi, because Tangi's been on it. She's my publicist, and she has definitely been on it. So special thanks to Tangi.
Most definitely. Well, Civ, get on it. We'll be looking forward to the new book coming out. I'll be looking forward to receiving my book in the mail, and most definitely once I get it, I'm going to reach back out to you and give you my afterthoughts of reading it. Until next time, stay positive, stay cool, number one, because the heat is excruciating up this way. But
drink that water.
Gotta do it. You stay on it. We're going to stay on it. Until next time, you be good. All right? See you.
Booyah, what's the deal, y'all? It's your boy Kevin. It's just comedy. And it's going down for 2 nights, y'all. It's going down the 24th and the 25th of June. That's right. Laugh and Gas Comedy Special is coming to town. You got Stiletto, you got Cool Bubba Ice, you got A.G. White, and you got Talent, the New York King of Comedy. Don't take it personal. It's just comedy. Going down at the Legacy Event Center. That's right. You heard me. June 24th, June 25th. One show, 8 o'clock each night. It's going down with some super duper comedy. Stiletto, Cool Bubba Ice, A.G. White, and yours truly, Mr. It's Just Comedy. Get them tickets, because they're going fast. Come on, North Carolina. We're in Gastonia, North Carolina. You ain't got no excuse. Charlotte, this way, that way, south, east, west, north. Come get your laugh on. And oh yeah, don't take it personal. It's just comedy.